Good morning. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm in the block of flats where I live, and I'm going to talk about the etiquette of holding doors. Notice that I said door rather than door. If you want to sound posh, then you need to say door rather than door. Likewise, fleur rather than floor, pour rather than pour. So, the etiquette of holding doors. Now, it's been said that the English people are a very polite people, that we have absolutely wonderful manners, and maybe at one time that was true, but I do think that etiquette has declined somewhat, and manners aren't in a good state in modern Britain. Nevertheless, there does seem to be something of a national obsession with holding doors. People always have to hold doors for other people. I think maybe as manners have declined, people seem to want to assert holding the door for other people as like their expression of politeness, when in other ways perhaps they're very rude people. I'll give you an example. On one occasion, I was going through a very crowded corridor, and a chap held the door for me. Um, Very nice of him, but because it was very crowded, I couldn't actually tell who it was who'd held the door. And this chap got very cross with me that I didn't thank him for holding the door for him, and he started shouting abuse and said some very rude words to me. He thought he was being very polite holding the door, but actually he was quite a rude man. So let's talk about holding the door. Now, it can be polite to hold the door for people, but not always. I'll give you some examples of when it might not be quite so polite. So, I'm holding the door. Let's say somebody's coming from a distance. Now, if they see me holding the door for them, they then feel that they have to rush to get through. And so they're having to hurry up because I'm holding the door. So actually, it wasn't terribly polite of me to hold the door for somebody who was coming from a distance. Okay, so that's one example of when holding the door might not actually be a very polite thing to do. Another example, let's say I hold the door for somebody like this. So I'm positioning my body between the doorway and the person coming through. So if somebody comes through, they have to squeeze past my body. Now that's not really very polite, is it? I'm effectively invading the personal space of the person coming through the door. So I might feel that I'm being very polite when actually I'm invading somebody's space. So please don't do that. That's not a good thing to do, but unfortunately, lots of people do that. Now, holding doors for people, although it does seem polite, can also be a way of asserting importance and perhaps even dominance. I once saw a video of Yitzhak Rabin and the Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat arguing about who was going to go through the doorway first. But neither of them wanted to be the first to go through the door. They each wanted to be the last one to go through. So going last was a way of asserting that they were the most important person. So sometimes you'll get people and they see somebody approaching the door, and rather than going through it themselves, they open the door so the other person can go through. And it does seem polite, but it can actually also seem a little bit self-important. I'm very suspicious of people who always have to be the last person to go through the door. I can assure you that's a sure sign of somebody who is dreadfully self-important. So try not to always assert yourself as being the person who holds the door so that you're the last person to go through it. Sometimes it's better to let other people hold the door for you and go through. Okay, so that's a very quick lesson in etiquette about holding the door. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And if you like this content, please do consider liking it or subscribing to this channel. Have a fantastic Sunday.